I am so excited about our guest today. Rachel Wooden is someone that you are absolutely going to love. She is a phenomenal woman who has tapped into her brilliance and has found a way to help others ignite that fire that's within all of us. And so I can't wait for you to listen to her share her story and her wisdom. I am so excited today to introduce you to Rachel Wooden, the founder of Find the Fire in You LLC. She is an amazing global executive, 17 years of experience, four different industries, has worked globally, and today she's going to help us find the fire within. So, Rachel, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Simon.
Rachel, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Just three? Just three? Oh, um, the words that come to mind for me are creative, compassionate, and resilient. I
Wow.
elaborate on a lot of those. I probably would have said them in different order at one point, but I have grown to love and accept that I am a creative at heart, and that's number one, is never lose my creativity.
Now, it's interesting you say creativity because according to LinkedIn Learning, there are 5 skills that are critically important from now to 2025 and beyond. And the number one skill is creativity. So for you,
That.
why is creativity so important, especially during these times?
Yeah, it's freeing. I find it to be very expressive. And to be honest, it was one of those things of growing up, or especially in the more technical environment that I work in. It's not something that's always number one on the list. We want that creative thinker. We want that creativity. We want that artist to come out. It's just not something that is always celebrated in terms of how do you use that and incorporate that in your career? Or
Hmm.
how do I feel proud of my creative side? That it is a career and can be a career. So for me, that's why it's always been there. And I think it's great to hear that it's one of those top 5 skill sets.
Absolutely. All right, here's my next question because I have so many questions. I had to make sure I
Go
wrote it down.
ahead.
So, what brings you joy every day? Would love to just hear a story or an example.
For me, it really is the simple things.
Hmm.
So, prepare to be mind blown or not. But it is. It's really appreciating simplicity. I can walk out my door. I can take a deep breath of fresh air and admire the view or the roses that I have in my garden. I can just take that time and take it all in. And, just knowing my personality and kind of how I think, there are miracles that surround you every day. And so watching flowers bloom or the sunrise or these mountains that I have in my backyard here, it's breathtaking. It really is. And that brings me joy. It could be 5 minutes. I mean, it could be 5 minutes of just taking that moment and just take all of that in. I think the other piece of it is just my family.
Hmm.
Again, it's the people that you love that surround you, and most importantly, my sons. I've got 2 sons on the age spectrum. One is 19 and one is 4. But man, just talking about them, right, just brings me to a new level. It makes me smile. It makes sure that everything that I do, I'm doing it with them in mind. What I would want for them, what I want them to experience, and what I want them to learn from their mom.
Next question. What is the greatest lessons that you have learned as a global executive, and what can we learn from those lessons?
Oh, so many. How much time we got? Um, you know, First and foremost, never compromise your values.
Yeah.
Never compromise that. And to your first question, never forget what brings you joy. The further you get away from the things that bring you joy, the more reminders you're going to get. It'll
Okay.
keep reintroducing itself back to you. And I have experienced that. So I think being true to your values, not compromising, don't stray, Don't stray from the creativity, the family, the simple things that bring you joy, and look at how to connect the dots. So for me, 17 years, lots of different industry. One thing that I've learned to do is connect the dots.
Mm,
And what I mean by that, it can be hard to do in the moment, right? If something's not going well, or you're having an issue or a conflict, or you didn't get that promotion, or things didn't work out the way you thought it would. That's hard to
yeah.
understand. Well, why is this happening? It's happening for my benefit. Most of us aren't going to just gravitate to that, but what I have found that it's hard to connect the dots looking forward. But
Mm.
once you arrive on the other side of whatever that scenario or situation may be, I can look back and say, I get it now. I can smile. I can see if that didn't happen, this opportunity wouldn't have arose, or I wouldn't have met this individual, or I would have been challenged to think about this differently. So I think connecting the dots has become a very important stress reliever, optimism, and to not get yourself, really caught up into the what went wrong, and really harnessing that to know how to shape where you want to go.
Wow,
So
that's good. So connect the dots,
connect the dots.
learn the lesson in the moment,
Absolutely.
be open to serendipity, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
And I think another layer to that, we hear this a lot in organizations, whether it's corporate or whatever industry you're in, is bringing your full authentic self to work, right? And most companies and most organizations, they say they want you to bring your full of authentic self to work, but there's challenges with that, right? And a lot of times it is, you have to realize that who I am, authentic. If you really want that Rachel to show up, you got to practice what you preach. So, I think that's another lesson in all of this is sometimes the environment, even though they, whoever they may be, say that's what they want, sometimes that environment isn't ready for you. And
mm.
that's okay. But you never change you for that environment. You change your environment.